So this is my magical garden. This is the place where I feel good. Always. My friends are here. They sing to me every day. You can hear them. The sun shines on me. These trees help me breathe. This is where my children play, and we have picnics. This is my happy place. And this is just one of my magical gardens, because I find them everywhere. Look at my flowers. They're so beautiful. And there's butterflies. And my daughter planted a sunflower that we're watching grow. So this is where I learn. This is where I teach my kids. This is where we learn about life. And I've had a lot to learn. It seems like there's so many things that I feel like I struggled through, and I had to figure out, and I had to dig really, really deep. And I don't regret any part of my journey, because I know I needed every bit of it. And I don't take away from the fact that everybody needs their journey, right? But I wonder what would have happened if I would have had somebody to help me and to teach me certain things that it took me so long and so much pain to learn. What would I have been able to do? What could I? No, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to say that. Here's what I'm going to say. I believe that I learned so much. And I looked. I had to search. I had to search in the world. And I had to search in myself for the lessons that I learned. And every day, I'm still searching. And I'm still learning, right? And I look at my children. And I just want to pass it on to them. I want to give them the things that it took me so long to learn. And people say, they're too young, they don't understand. And I have so many parents that tell me that about their own children. Oh, but she doesn't understand. And I'm amazed at what my children understand. I'm amazed at what they come back and tell me. And I realize that they do know. They do understand. They understand so much. And I feel like my job as a parent, as a mom, is to nurture my children, to teach them, and to give them the tools that they need to the best of my abilities, because I don't know everything. God knows I don't know everything. But to the best of my abilities, I believe that it is my job to teach them and to guide them. And to teach them not just to teach them how to think. How, not what to think, not what to do. How to find the answers, how to decide what to do. So I tell my daughter all the time, since I was a child, I had this feeling inside of me, always. I always had this feeling inside of me. Some things just didn't work for me. And I would tell my mom, and she would tell me, just believe. Or she would tell me, because I said so. Or she would tell me, And I would tell her, no, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And I would always think for myself. And I don't know, I didn't agree with a lot of things that a lot of people said. And now, 35 years later, almost 40 years into my journey, I study and I learn, and I listen and I observe, and I watch. And so many things that I see now, I remember feeling that when I was a child. I remember, like, I study, now everyone's into meditation, right? Everyone is meditating. Everyone is finding that space within them, which is wonderful. Because I believe in that power inside of us. And I believe in the power of connecting to that which animates us and everything, right? And now, no mind. Everyone is trying to get to the space of no mind. And it's crazy, because as a child, I had no thoughts. And I remember my mind being perfectly at ease, with not a thought, perfectly peaceful. And I remember looking around at everyone else and thinking that I wasn't normal, and that I had to be like them. And I had to think, and I had to have thoughts, that I had to have things going through my mind all the time. And I remember forcing myself to think. I remember forcing myself to have thoughts, forcing myself to find something to say, find something to think, so that I wouldn't feel so weird around everyone else, because it seemed like everyone else always had something to say and knew what to say and had thoughts and had, and now it's like, now I trained my mind to think to the point where it overthinks, can't stop thinking, can't stop worrying. I suffered anxiety, suffered depression, And now it's like, there were other things too. I remember there's something else. I can't remember it right now, but there's something else that I remember thinking, wow, that's the goal that people are trying to get to now. But I remember that being my natural state as a child. And I can't remember what it is. If I remember, I'll speak on it again, because it was very profound. And I remember at the time when I realized it, how incredible it was to me that we're searching and searching and searching, and we force ourselves to become things that later on drive us insane. And then in order to save our sanity, we're trying to return to where we started. Like that was the most normal place, And even here, my magical garden, right? It took the last couple years, which was probably the hardest 2 years of my life, right? Probably the hardest 2 years of my life. It took the last 2 years, and it took a lot that I had to go through to be able to say, yes, this is my happy place. This is where I want to be. This is what makes me feel good. Trees make me feel good. Birds make me feel good. Bees buzzing around me make me feel good. You know? And I live in one of the busiest cities in this country, in the United States. I live in one of the busiest cities. You can hear the traffic behind me. You can hear it. Yeah. Concrete jungle. Lots of parts of it. Concrete jungle. And I felt so suffocated. And I was going insane. And I found myself, I always find the perfect place for me for that time, you know? But it took a lot for me to sit in this space with my neighbors driving up, pulling up, walking their dogs, and to really not care. And to really not care what anybody thinks. And to know that this, my feet in the dirt, my bare feet with no pedicure either. I can't remember the last time I had a pedicure, but that's neither here nor there. But for me to sit here and be happy in the sun and be happy. It took a lot. It took a lot. And it's still going. It's not done. It's not done. Because right before I started this video, I was thinking. I think a lot. Why am I here? I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy, not here in my garden. I love it here. I love my magical garden. I love my birds, right? This is what I love. But on earth, why am I here? Why am I here? Not that I'm suicidal in any way. No, not at all. I recognize and appreciate the value of life, and I understand, right? But most of the things people enjoy, I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy. I don't know. I don't know anybody like me. I really don't. So, as of right now, I'm kind of an alien to myself, you know? Because all the things I like and the things that I can lose myself in for hours, nobody I know even understands. So they just accept me the way I am, and they love me. And they listen to what I say. They do. They take a lot of advice that I give them as far as, you know, things to eat and things to not eat. And things to, you know, because since I was, I remember when I first moved here, I'm not from here originally. I grew up on an island. I grew up in nature. Yeah, I grew up in nature. I grew up with flowers and plants and teas and no medicine. I've had malaria. You don't die from it where I'm from, you know? So I came here and so many things just didn't feel right? I remember the orange juice. All of a sudden, I didn't like orange juice anymore. And I thought I just didn't like orange juice anymore. I didn't realize it's because the orange juice wasn't real. And something inside of me would tell me, no. And I remember, you know, I have sisters, you know, girls, a lot of girls in my house. I would never put lotion on. I would never use certain things. I remember I would pick up a bottle because I would know, like they would tell me that I need to take care of my skin and I need to put lotion on to protect my skin. And I would pick up the bottle and then something would tell me to put it down. And there was always that something inside of me that would always tell me things. And I would always listen. And I would always, and nobody could understand. And I couldn't explain it because there was no explanation. It was just a feeling. And I didn't know why. And I always thought, man, what's going to happen to me? My skin is going to be horrible. I don't, because that's what society was telling me, right? So I was listening. But I never listened enough to actually use the stuff. I listened enough to worry about what would happen because I didn't use it. But I still didn't use it. Because I would always say when that feeling tells me something, I can't do it. No matter what, I can't do it. I have to listen to that. And you know what? Years later, over the years, I've studied so many things. studied so many things, seemingly random things, seemingly disconnected things that have all come back full circle and bring me always back to the same thing, right? And over the years, I studied herbs, I studied oils, I studied natural healing, I studied massage, I studied so many things. These are the things that I study on my free time. This is what I do. If I never had to worry about money, this is what I would do, is I would study and study and study and learn about all these things. And the more I learned what was going into these things. You know, mineral oil. When I learned what mineral oil was, then all of a sudden I understand why the voice inside of me always told me to put that down. And I was so grateful that I listened. You know, when I understood what was in the orange juice. Why was it so orange? Where I'm from, the oranges are so sweet, but they don't come out that bright orange, the juice. It was so crazy. Yeah, so many things. And I'm so glad that I listened. And now, see, I still study, right? I study a lot. And I do struggle sometimes. I struggle a lot. I struggle. We all struggle, right? So some days are great. When butterflies come flying around me. Did you see that one? She's so pretty. Some days are wonderful. Some days are harder. Some days are breakdowns. But I always know there's a breakthrough after every breakdown. And I always say it's okay to break down. Just don't unpack and live there, right? And luckily, I can always pull myself out. The sun helps a lot, you know? Always come to the sun when you don't feel so good. And the sun will re-energize you. Give you life, right? Water, very important. Spring water, no fluoride. Get rid of the fluoride. It pacifies your mind. It's a neurotoxin. It calcifies your pineal gland. You know? So, get rid of the fluoride in your toothpaste too. You don't need it. It's hurting your teeth. It's hurting your brain. It's hurting your body. Get some colloidal silver. Drink it. Every day. When you get sick, when you start to feel a cold coming on, 3 dropperfuls every 2 hours. The cold will not get you. Eat real food. Find a farmer. A lot of people can't. Everybody's in a different situation, right? It's been hard for me. It's a process. Nothing happens overnight. And it's taken a while, and it's a process, you know? But there's so many things. And so many things that I want to teach my kids. So many things and I believe, you know, I'm a mom. I have two daughters, 2 girls, little girls, 3 and 5, 5 and a half. Do not forget the half, right? So I'm a mom. And I have 2 children, but I feel like all children are my children. Because as a child, I was lost. A lot. I didn't really have that person that was thinking about where I was, or what I was doing, or what I was eating, or what I was. And I'm not saying I was in a much better position than millions of children, you know? I was not abused. I was not on the street. I mean, I was by choice, but not because I didn't have a home. No. You know, my parents were just busy. You know? And so I was on my own. And I had to figure out a lot by myself. I learned a lot from the wrong places. You know? But every experience, I was in a lot of places I should have never been in. I went through a lot of things that I wish I wouldn't have. You know? But even the worst, I won't get into it now, but maybe one day I will. But even the very worst, in the worst place of darkness, I'll never forget what the universe showed me that day. How the inside of me was able to connect to the inside of someone who was hurting me. And that connection made him stop. And it sucked that it happened in the first place. But it showed me the power. It gave me a glimpse of the power that we have. And throughout my life, I've been shown, my whole life, I have been shown glimpses of this power. And I've been searching my whole life. This is the only desire of my heart, is to access that power, to tap into that power consciously, because I've done it so many times unconsciously, and created things and materialized things. I mean, unbelievable experiences that when I tell people, they can't even believe, right? Seems like magic. But I always said, I can't find the switch. I don't know how I do it. And so that's all I want, right? Of course I want my children. My children keep me here. My children keep me grounded. If I wouldn't have had children, who knows what would have happened to me, But they are the reason I wake up every day, right? I want them to have what they want, what they need. I want them to be kind. I raise them to be kind, to take care of the trees and the butterflies and the caterpillars and each other and their friends and everyone and the planet, I teach them this. They know this. They learn this every day. They learn this here. They learn this everywhere. Every day and in every place is a teaching moment for children. I believe that from the age of 0 to 7 is when we program them. We program them. Either we program them or the world programs them. You choose. We are programmed either way, consciously or unconsciously. Just like a garden. You can plant flowers or you will grow weeds. Either way, the garden will grow, And after the age of 7, from the age of 7, everything that they do and every choice and every decision that they make will come from the programming that we put into them. I believe that. And so, I don't know what this video is about. And I know I jump from topic to topic. I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't know. All I know is that I want my children, and I want all children, to have what it took me so long to learn. God forbid something ever happens to me. I want my children to understand. I want my children to understand me, to understand my journey, and to understand life. And to understand, not that I can teach someone life, All I can teach is what I learned, and hope that it can help somebody. And if it helps one person, then it was worth it, And the best lesson is that we keep learning every single day. We never stop. And for me, I keep getting closer and closer. Butterflies flying all over. My birds. Where are my birds? There she goes again. So I just wanted to share that. So welcome to my magical garden, where we plant seeds.